And I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed.
Oh no! She is disappointed!
Oh, that's so pretentious. She's so disappointed.
Hi all, I'm Meliora and I welcome you to my channel. Today we're continuing conversation about my niche purchases. This is a cumulative haul over the couple of months. I've been accumulating sort of groups of perfumes here and there and trying to sort of sample them before I tell you about them. But more or less this is still first impressions. If you get super curious about any particular specific release or particular brand, please let me know in the comments below and we will try to like get to it in some kind of like thematic review, top to bottom review. We'll figure it out. It's basically I just want to show you what I'm adding to my collection after the ruthless declutter that you witnessed. You saw that I cleaned up my shelves quite a bit in preparation for these consequent hauls that I've been showing you. So basically at this point anything is a game. If you're thinking about a particular brand or a particular note or a particular release or flanker that you will see here, I'm super happy to talk about it more as I start to wear it more. So this is Delina by Parfums de Marly. So I have a bit of a back and forward confusion about this brand because they are very expensive, and yet I bought a sampler from them and I heard that Delina is an absolute hit. A lot of people consider this to be like the fragrance to start from if you're getting familiar with the brand. And a subscriber of mine was very kind to send me a small sort of 3 milliliter decant, like a sample, so I could just at least get a whiff of it and, you know, to feel what it's like. My impressions from blind test, I didn't know that that was Delina by Parfums de Marly. I thought it was just like screaming, annoying, kind of, it's like sour fruits or berries with maybe some woody notes. I really disliked it. So then I actually read the pyramid. I discovered this is like a really expensive perfume. That didn't really improve my impression of it. But when I started trying to wear it more and more, because I have quite a bit in that little sample, I think this kind of like magical power of marketing started working on me more and more. I started to hear the notes that they were saying, like that they were present in the pyramid. I was kind of, you know, like I got into like I don't know if it was there all the time and I just didn't hear those flavors, or I just kind of like invented them and created a meta reality of that perfume improving with every day that I wore it. So I was a little bit confused. The sample ran out eventually. So I've been thinking about trying to kind of continue working with this fragrance because I don't know why actually. I feel like I just felt like I should figure it out. Like I should like it because everyone raves about it. So when I found the hairspray, I thought, oh, this is perfect actually. This is a lighter version, everyday version that will allow me to ponder about the heart of the pyramid and kind of like live with it without being overwhelmed by how loud it is. I still consider that perfume to be extremely loud, a little bit too much for my liking. So I ordered it. Luckily it was also on a little bit of a discount at FragranceNet. By the way, if you're interested, I'm leaving names of the perfumes if I didn't forget. I hope I don't. If I forgot, please remind me. I try to leave the names of the perfumes and the example links below. So if you're curious, you can click on that and just to see where I got it. So the hairspray of Delina. since I had both the eau de parfum and the hairspray, I actually can tell you that there is a difference between them. It is definitely the same reverence, right? Like it's the same nod to the pyramid, but it's not the same effect. Oop. So I smell way more kind of a body spray type of odor here. It seems sweeter, almost coconuttier. So I think the sweet lychee note is way more pronounced in the hairspray than it is in the original perfume. I feel like this kind of like strong, demanding, flowery note or whatever is in there that the Delina opens up with, or the parfum, it's completely gone in the hairspray. And for that, I actually love it. I love how the hairspray smells. I would love to wear it as a perfume, as a spray, it doesn't matter. It acquired that kind of creaminess and softness that I really value in more kind of watercolor compositions that, I don't know, L'Artisan Parfumeur is known for, and more like niche brands that do more sort of subtle and nuanced and more quiet perfumes. So some people will love it for it, like me. Some people will actually dislike the hairspray if they're thinking that they're buying perfume just, for a cheaper price. So beware. If you were always curious about Delina, you can get a cheaper version. Just keep in mind that the eau de parfum is brighter, punchier, and more floral. This version is sweeter, creamier, and a little bit more on the lychee, sort of sweet lychee side. So yeah, this is a surprise favorite straight out of the box. Given that I was so conflicted about the original, I'm like, wow, miracles do happen. So that's that. That's Delina by Parfums de Marly. Let's go with the floral story here. This was a blind purchase because I got it to my mind that I have to try them. So this is Rose Royale by Nicolai Parfumeur Créateur. This is the house of a sort of a family member of Guerlain family, Patricia Nicolai, who is been kind of renowned and notorious for her ability to create incredibly natural sounding yet sophisticated sort of natural scents. So Rose Royale, I thought, was a great way to get introduced to the brand and kind of like get to test that notoriety, like that paragon of making rose smell like rose, peony smell like peony, and yada yada yada. So my subscriber told me that there is this website called Fragrance Buy in Canada that is very similar to perfume.com, fragrancenet.com, and like in other discounts. It's just Canadian based. And I must say, they have a very nice selection of niche that is cheaper, or even some niche that cannot be found in the United States. They do have it. This is one of those examples. So they do have Nicolai Parfumeur Créateur, and the smaller bottles you can sometimes find there for like a huge discount. I don't remember how much, but like considerable. So that made it kind of like within my budget, and I jumped on it. It was a blind buy. So this is me trying it actually for the first time. I just got the box. So what you get, I already unpackaged it. It comes kind of like sealed with this paper seal. Then you break the seal. You get the description out. I didn't get it, but for some reason the description of my perfume is for Rose Pivoine, which is Rose Peony. But the perfume that I ordered is Rose Royale. I know for a fact that those are two different formulations. It's not like one perfume was renamed or something. No, those are two different perfumes. So I don't know what happened here. Maybe that's why it was discounted. Maybe like some packaging error. But what's on the box is Rose Royale, Royal Rose. And what's inside is 30 milliliters of Rose Royale. When it comes to packaging, Packaging is a thick cardboard box with a magnetic closure. Very good, really like it. Looks good for gifts. The bottle itself is pretty securely packaged there. The packaging is good. I'm not gonna like spend some excruciating amount of time describing every single little detail. I'll say good, good for self, good for gifts. The bottle itself is very simple. This is like the classic niche when everything is just poured into some kind of bottle, gets a sticker on it, gets sold. So I can't really tell much here about it. It's okay, it's decent. It's not bad quality, but it's not some astonishing luxe item that you just want to keep in your eyes and keep touching. No, that's not the case. It's very simple, but good quality. Nothing is like falling off here yet. So, let's see. I'm super curious. So the Royal Rose by Nicolai, the guru of sophisticated yet natural scents. Let's see. Well, it is a kind of like a wild rose scent. It seems bright, seems very like it feels both like it's been done before and a bit dated to me. It has a little bit of these berry sourness to it. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's like the rose that gets a little bit sour. Oh, it's really not me. Not me at all. Yeah. To me, it's just like some very generic light rose cologne. Probably that's what it is, by the way. But I don't know, for some reason, I mean, you can buy like a rose toilette like in Aqua or in so many cologne lines, right? Like every cologne line has a rose. I just for some reason thought that this would be the rose, you know, like that the Nicolai will create some kind of soliflor that will just make everything redundant. Just like for me, Frederic Malle's Orange Bigarade is just made all lime perfumes obsolete. Like Orange's Bigarades by Frederic Malle is the most, like, it's like the universe of lime. It's the universe of itself. And I for some reason thought like so much fuss, so much talk about what is true, natural versus high perfumery versus just like air refreshener with a rose scented. I thought that, you know, I would open it and it was just, not only it's not giving me any kind of buzz or excitement, I kind of don't like it. I'll think about it more. I'll try to explain it to you what about it that makes it potentially good for some people or bad for some people if you're curious. But the first introduction to a, you know, a high-end Puritan rose by Nicolai is a flop in my book. It's not bad, but nothing to write home about. Okay, all right. Moving on. The next one I want to show you came from the same website, Canadian discount website. They have a lot of Carner Barcelona for a really good price. Really good price. Usually this niche house, Carner Barcelona, you cannot buy it cheaper than outside, $90. And then, like, consider yourself lucky. Some of that stuff pops up on eBay every once in a while. No mention on Mercari so far. But the Canadians have them, actually. So there's something with the distribution network that I just don't understand. Like, Canada apparently has sometimes a better, richer selection of niche than United States does. So it's a blind purchase. I bought it purely from reading Fragrantica reviews and looking at the notes. And I'm happy to tell you, actually it came fully packaged with the saran wrap and stuff, but I already took it off. and I already tried it. It's the one that's really good. Anyway, I'm a big fan of this brand for how wearable yet interesting. You know, like they're not too niche to be unwearable or very weird, and then you have to spend half an hour explaining what is that thing that somebody could like and explaining 99% of people who wouldn't like and for what. This is a very much universally likable perfumes. I don't know a single perfume or fragrance by Carner Barcelona that would be revolting or super weird. They are all very wearable. They are all a little bit more on the watercolor side of longevity and projection, so they're usually not super bright. They're usually not super aggressive either, like nothing like Mugler's or Amouage or who else, or etc. So the one that I bought blindly was called Botafumeiro. Yeah, Botafumeiro. And I bought it first because I love the brand, had really great luck purchasing blindly from them, and it was on sale. So I got my fill, 50 milliliters. I really love their packaging. It's always some kind of wood. It's super polished. Really, really nice packaging. It really makes you feel like it was worth the money. So Botafumeiro, again, I'm not going to go super deep. If you're curious about me going in depth or maybe even giving you sort of comparison chart, please leave a comment below and we will figure it out later. But overall, just so you can get some kind of impression, this is a warm, smoky, ambery, this kind of like warm night with, with a glass of whiskey by the fireplace. I don't particularly feel there's any kind of smoke, but it gives you this warm, sweet amber feeling with a little bit of like crickling woods. Delicious. Ah, so good. Delicious not in the edible sense, but it's just I keep wanting to whiff it in and in and in. Beautiful. So Botafumeiro, I would call this love from the first whiff, and it's a blind buy, so I'm super happy. Again, Carner Barcelona, if you can find it for a decent price, this is the kind of designer perfumes that we can't find in the stores anymore. The designer and luxury perfumes that were sold in every Sephora and every department store used to be like this. But with the... yeah, don't get me started on Olivia Bells and Black Opiums again. I think the Tom Ford is probably the only one who is still holding the line. And Hermes. That's the only interesting things you can really find in the department stores these days, sadly. Anyway. Now we're moving to, actually, Tom Ford. I kind of freaked out a little bit. I heard that this perfume was discontinued. It was above my usual budget per bottle. I couldn't. I'm on the search for a smothering, royal, deadly lily perfume. And when I heard that Tom Ford Lys Fume allegedly, I'm not sure, you let me know if you know better, Lys Fume by Tom Ford is being discontinued. I found it on eBay for I don't want to talk about it. I bought it. That's what counts. I bought it. So I have it now. It is very close. It's very close to the true way that white lilies smell. I actually bought myself a huge bouquet of white lilies because I was so obsessed with finding the perfect white lily smell, like that gives you the full head space. I was so obsessed with finding the perfect full head space of a lily represented in a perfume that I bought myself a huge bouquet of white lilies and I kept smelling them until they completely decayed in the vase. I know it sounds disgusting, but the true full lily scent is not just sweet or heavy. It has this animalistic, almost like rotting note. This is why a lot of people don't like them, granted, but I love that scent. You know, if some people just like, oh my god, white lilies, please remove them from my space, I'm willing to just buy a huge bouquet of white lilies, close all the doors and windows, and go to bed in that room. I adore. This is my guilty pleasure. This like rotting and animalic, rich, sweet, smothering, deadly lilies. This is what I'm looking for. So according to a lot of reviews, this was supposed to be it. I'm still testing a few competitors. If you're interested, I can make a review and tell you about who was the winner. But I'm still kind of like only starting to work with this one, so we'll talk about Lys Fume later on. Okay, now let's talk about artisans. Historically, the first brand that really got me into niche was L'Artisan Parfumeur. Actually, I have to thank Sephora for it. As much as I shit on Sephora these days and their pointless point system, pardon the pun, it's actually not a pun even. They were the ones who introduced L'Artisan Parfumerie initially to the website. And this is how I just started trying them randomly. And I really liked what I smelled and was unusual. It didn't seem as synthetic and sugary as, you know, the usual suspects. It's like Dolce & Gabbana The One, Black Opium, all of that synthetic caramel stuff, right? On the shelves. And the more and more got into it, the more I kind of found new brands and new. So I'm not gonna go on a huge rant. I always hold a sweet spot for L'Artisan Parfumeur in my heart because it got me started and it really fits with my personal taste of thinly weaved watercolor over fragrance. I do like things that are sophisticated but not too loud. I do have a fair share of favorites that are loud with projection, with longevity. I do have that too. But my inner self is more reacting in a more authentic way toward watercolor compositions. So I had a tester, but actually a little sample that a friend of mine sent to me because I was desperate to try this one. This is Passage d'Enfer de Incense. Gosh, I'm butchering this, am I not? By L'Artisan Parfumeur. For whatever reason, it was impossible to find this in the States. So a friend sent a sample to me of that perfume from Russia. I finished it. I loved it. And I was like, okay, I need this in my life. And I actually had to buy it from Russia on eBay. I was so nervous that it will be a fake. Because, just so you know, a lot of kind of like southern states close to Turkey, they are like known for trafficking niche fakes. So you never know when you're buying from that region whether you're buying a real perfume or not. And actually people who live in that region warned me about it, that you shouldn't really buy from sellers you don't know from the south of Russia or like the countries that border the south of Russia. I don't know, I really wanted it. So I took the plunge. I ordered from a random Russian seller on eBay, and actually it got to me really quickly, and that's true. I saved a little bit of the sample so I could compare. It's exactly what it is. It's, thank God. It has all the batch codes, it has all of the bottle and the laser cuts that says L'Artisan Parfumeur. The lead is like heavy metal. All of the stuff is there, and what's more important, the juice is exactly what it was in the sample that she sent me. So what is it in 2 words? It's kind of like a rotten naivety in a scent, because it combines a very light, almost water lily scent. It has white lily, but it's that part of the lily note that is super watery and light and aquatic almost, and it combines it with thin, cleaned up incense. almost the kind of incense you can smell in Catholic churches when you just enter the church. I hear that this combination of notes they dedicated to the little passage where the first store was located, because it was located, if I remember the marketing fairy tale, the story that they attached to the release, it was located between either a school or like some orphanage and a church. So I guess that's what's supposed to give you this kind of both light and dark effect at the same time of combining incense and kind of watery aquatic white lily. Very unusual, very niche, not too loud. It's kind of actually sits close to the skin. It's a very introverted perfume. I have nothing like that in my collection, which is not the point. There are many perfumes we will never have. We cannot have every single kind or every single combination of notes, right? I want this in my life, and I don't have a suitable replacement. So I'm happy that I got it. So what is it again? Passage d'Enfer. Okay, I'll try. Passage d'Enfer d'Encens by L'Artisan Parfumeur. Again, I will try to leave all the names and links below, so if you can't understand what I'm saying, which I cannot either, you can just look down. Okay, another one that I bought, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, out of sheer curiosity, and it was on sale. And I thought, I like L'Artisan Parfumeur, they can do no wrong in my eyes, so I bought myself Saffron Troublon from their, I think it's like cooking collection. So they have like one for red pepper, one for paprika, and one for saffron, which is all of the spices and sort of cooking spices. So this is what it looks like. And again, I'm super keen on buying L'Artisan Parfumeurs only in their old packaging, because I'll show you, like I have one in the newer packaging. That was the only option available. Don't like it. I really like this. This looks really, really luxe to me. It's aesthetically very pleasing, very refined. Love that. So Saffron Tourbillon is obviously, again, a watercolor painting of a saffron dream, if you wish. There's more here than saffron for sure. I'm not ready again to give a full review or even comparisons. I actually don't have a lot of perfumes with saffron in my collection. I never really thought of this note as something I would want to have on me, so this is why, not because I don't like it or anything. Again, soft, warm. I don't feel any kind of spices in the usual sense, like when something is prickling in your nose. No, it's like a puree. It's like a blend, such a thin blend that it's almost like a cream soup of the spices. It's nice. I would say it's nice. That's what we're gonna land on for now. Can't say that it's something astonishing, but it's very pleasant, and I'll leave it at that, and we'll see how it opens up when I wear it. Okay, this was a panic buy. Again, somebody said somewhere that L'Artisan Parfumeur was discontinuing this perfume, and this is like the best tea fragrance in the history of all fragrances. I panicked. It was above my budget. I'll never forgive myself for that. Anyway, let me tell you what it is. Tea for Two, Eau de Toilette by L'Artisan Parfumeur, and it is a tea scent. It's supposed to give you this a little bit of smoked, I think it's called puer, like this kind of smoked black tea. I hope you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like smoky, a little bit burnt, maybe even black tea. That's exactly how it smells from the bottle. Let me refresh it on a piece of paper. And that would be fine. though a bit too pricey for a tea smell. Yeah, but what I smell in the opening and unfortunately on my skin is like really bitter smoke. You know, like the kind of smoke that makes you cough and you just like start coughing black stuff. I don't know, like if you were caught in a fire, it's just bitter to me. It's like bitter smoke. And only in the base it softens up and becomes this more of a soft, spicy black tea. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself that I jumped on it and bought it almost full price, maybe like a teeny tiny discount. I don't like this none of this makes sense to me. I'll be honest with you. I'm for now keeping it so I can try to wear it more and try to make sense of it. Maybe I'll get used to it. Maybe I'll start loving it. We'll see. But it's also a painful reminder about consumerism and emotional shopping. I never was into, I mean, I like tea scents, but I don't love them. It's not something that I would die for to smell like black tea, right? Why? Why did this happen? It's like induced urgency. It's induced scarcity that is such a common trick in all of the consumer goods. It's not just all of this like rush to buy a limited release or something especially discontinued. Oh my god, this is the bane of perfume community existence, right? Like I feel like sometimes those brands induce those rumors so people just go nuts and buy 5 duplicates, like of one perfume, being afraid that they will never ever feel it again. But here's the truth. There are going to be so many new perfumes released in the years to come that you won't remember what you liked so much about this one. There will always be something beautiful and something amazing that's popping in the market. Yes, majority of new releases are just people trying to make a quick buck, right? Like, and self-referencing themselves to death with flankers. But if you don't look at the volume, but look at the volume of things that are actually good out of 1,000 things that are not so interesting, there will always be good perfumes that are coming. So this is just like don't make the same mistake. I just bought like extremely expensive scent from a brand that I love, okay, in the packaging I don't like, of a olfactory portfolio that I don't care for, above my budget. Here it is. Here's the face of shame and disbelief. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, let's finish with L'Artisan's. FragranceNet all of a sudden threw out a bunch of their home scents, sort of room perfumes, for a really cheap price. So I ordered a few. Unfortunately, I only got one. Sometimes they will put things on clearance and you buy them and they just say, oh, sorry, we oversold. So that was the case with me. So I only got one. But it's a good one, and actually I intend to use it as a perfume. I actually don't see much of a difference between the Eau de Toilette by L'Artisan and home fragrance. Like, as long as you like the olfactory profile of it, like, which I'm trying to say what it smells like, right? Enough of the fancy words. You're gonna be fine. It's just not gonna last as long. So the one that I have, okay, it's a cedary blue cedar. I think that's what is intended. So it's supposed to be woody, green, and a little bit blue, whatever that means. What I smell is ever so slightly smoky forest kind of woody scent. It's very calming. It's very atmospheric. It's a bit melancholic, but it's not bitter. It's not a shipper. It's not a fougère. It's a warm, quiet, woody scent with a touch of smoke. You know, just a hint. This one has a lot of smokiness to it, like a lot. This one, the cedar blue, just a hint. It's almost like you're like in the campground and somebody, like making burning like a bonfire nearby. So it's yeah, it makes me think of a camping ground a little bit. It's great. I love it. And I actually will try to use it as a perfume because I really like, maybe at home, because I don't want to feel so relaxed and kind of like thinking, of a camping trip when I'm at work. So probably it's more of an introverted kind of like at home perfume. But I really like it, and I got it, kid you not, for I think $18. A few samples that I bought to kind of like test out and see if I want full-size bottles. First one, actually have nothing to report. I'm just gonna indicate it to you, and if you're interested, we'll talk about the range later when I test them. So this is a fragrance set by Dali Haute Parfumerie, Paris. We all know most of us know about beautifully, like really quirky, surrealistic bottles that Salvador Dali Perfumes releases. So now they have a hot, Haute Parfumerie. Hot. I guess it is hot to some people. So this is like their selective, like they have a boutique line that's very expensive and supposed to be very, very sophisticated. So you can buy actually sets of samples like that. They're not too small. I think it's like, how many? I think 2 milliliters each. Yeah, they seem pretty substantial. 2.5 milliliters. So it's enough to get a first impression. So I got 5. Oh, guys, I cannot read these names. They are long and they're very, very foreign to me.